Hello, we have the honor of presenting our team solution for the Zurich Enterprise Challenge for 2017. Millennium Automotive, a German automobile manufacturer, is facing the following situation. Competition has been increasing and new technologies have emerged with increasing levels of robotics and digitalization, causing a rapid decline in market share and profits. To restore profitability, Millennium is considered leveraging its already existing network in emerging markets through the improvement of R&D, sales, production, and profits. To assess the best region, we took 4 company goals and applied 25 risk indicators that we believe affect these goals from the risk room and then assigned them to each goal. Next, we averaged these risk indicators per country, and from that we created the regional averages. This methodology is how we discovered the best region for Millennium is Africa. The goals used to determine the lowest risk region, as previously mentioned, are research and development, sales, production, and profits. We assigned risk indicators to these goals even if they overlapped. Further, we based our conclusion only on the 2016 quarters for relevancy. The risks associated with Africa are listed here. We assigned them to each goal and were relevant because they bore a severe proximity to an Armageddon rating. The key risk that represents the most meaningful impact is the effect of taxation and incentive to invest, which tells us the impact of taxes in a country on incentives to invest. This one nation whose indicator is ranked 0.72 is the country of Ghana. And that number is close to 1, which is an Armageddon rating. To mitigate this risk, Millennium can apply to be included in one of the many concessions that the Ghanaian tax system has, which considerably reduces the effective tax rate. The minimum incentives are specified in various laws, acts, and agreements like the Free Zone Act, GIPC, and ECOWAS. Brain drain is another critical factor for Africa. How could Millennium mitigate it? Millennium could create a partnership with the governments of Ghana, Kenya, Botswana, and South Africa to offer funds, internships, and eventually jobs for mechanical engineering students who will stay in the country and work for the company. In Ghana, Botswana, Kenya, and South Africa, several universities offer mechanical engineering degrees with some automotive options. This is a good starting point. Millennium can offer internships leading to jobs on top of tuition grants to students only after graduating and starting the job who commit to staying in the countries at Millennium. In addition to cooperating with the universities, Millennium could work with the governments to see if there could be a temporary tax deduction for executives who move to their country and work there. The next relevant risk indicator used to mitigate is regulatory quality. The following steps are suggested. First, negotiating and signing international investment agreements, or BITs, to protect Millennium from governmental actions. BITs should include arbitration clauses using ICSID or UN CITRAL. Second, creating investor associations in African countries to leverage negotiating power vis-a-vis governments. In this sense, associations should help the governments in the issuance of anti-corruption standards. Third, Millennium could sponsor university programs and seminars related with the advantages of arbitration and corruption repercussions. It's particularly important since, as we mentioned before, it would also mitigate the brain drain risk. Fourth, by acquiring insurance related with the early termination of the agreement, expropriation, and other materials and regulatory matters. Now for the risk cost of terrorism. The company can develop a risk management plan that would include detailed assessments and a variety of risk management techniques that can be implemented effectively to reduce the threat from a terrorist attack. Another risk mitigation action that lowers the overall cost of terrorism is insurance, which provides special risk coverage. Many companies will wish to buy global terrorism insurance policies to supplement or replace involvement in state terrorism schemes. By using the scenario analysis function of the Zurich room, we lowered the indicators to a level of 0.3 and we consider that to be a mild measurement. There's an exponential drift of each country in their position towards nirvana. In this regard, Ghana and Kenya point towards South Africa, while Botswana goes below the 0.5 indicator, making it a country far less risky to work and invest in. We can see that improving the risk indicators, the impact on the country's overall risk position are positive. They are driven to what can be called a stable position heading towards nirvana and away from Armageddon. In addition to the analysis and facts stated, we also believe that the following factors should be considered before investing in Africa. The slight decrease in wealth creation and car sales is only expected to slightly impact the automotive market as manufacturers will export. Another factor to complicate would be the stability of democratic governments in countries where the plants are located. Political risk for change of regimes must be a consideration. Raw materials are the major factor that needs to be taken into account. This might be the most significant area of concern. Raw materials account for 47% of the cost in manufacturing of automobiles, whereas labor is the second most important cost, accounting for only 21%. The availability of raw materials and their origin must be looked at before deciding. No company should risk its reputation because of poor quality or unfair labor practices. The availability is also of note because if materials must be imported from a great distance at excessive cost, then manufacturing in Africa could end up being a zero-sum move. Finally, we consider that Millennium Automotive should carry out due diligence over the following matters prior to deciding whether to invest in Africa: environmental site assessments, local non-governmental agencies conducting audits over potential local suppliers, possible corporate tax structures, energy trends and projects in African nations, analysis of local university programs to determine skills and capabilities of students and potential employees, and lastly, analysis of local robotic and similar sectors. However, we believe that Asia should not be disregarded as a possibility if any of the additional risk factors above prove to be unsustainable because it has a GDP growth rate 1.2% larger than that of Africa. We hope you found our analysis and approach to your challenge interesting. We have certainly enjoyed participating and preparing this presentation for you.